but essentially they're being ordered to be served consecutively so that it is unmistakably clear that you will spend the rest of your life in prison with no chance for parole. So you understand those sentences and the consequences of those sentences. Yes, sir.
Chad Doerman, like, that's crazy. Like, Chad Doerman is just bananas. I was watching the Chad Doerman guilty plea, and the prosecutor was reading out everything. It was just disgusting. I guess like his wife was leaving him and he just wanted her to pay, and he just decided to kill the kids. He just wiped out his boys. He just slaughtered his little boys. I don't even know what demon could possibly possess this man to decide today is a day I'm just going to slaughter my boys. Just killed his little boys, man. And then, you know, I was listening to the whole commentary from, I think it was Law and Crime or whatever, like they had an expert in, and
you look at those kids, and their life is taken by their father in such an egregious way. I'm sure some people are thinking, of all people, this guy deserves a death penalty. But Mom released a statement today saying that they are absolutely in agreement with the state here for this deal. Your thoughts?
You literally just finished my sentence before I even said it. That's exactly what happened. So just so the viewers can see behind the scenes what happens with these types of conversations. When the defense counsel was appointed, the first thing that the defense counsel did was call the prosecutor and say, I got to come talk to you. I'm going to be their attorney. I really don't want to try this case. And the prosecutor would have came back and said, this is so heinous, I also don't want to try the case. But even though it's up to me, I've got to get the consent of the mother first. Let me see if the mother's on board. And then the prosecutor would have called the mother and told the mother, look, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I have a 99% likelihood that I'll get him sentenced to death if you want me to. But we'd be putting you and this community through a trial. Are you okay with me sending him literally into a hole where not only will he never see the light of day again, he literally will not see the sun again. We will also put him on suicide protocol so that he cannot even take his own life and excuse himself from the torment that the jail will give him. I could do that. Which one of those two do you want me to do? And then the mother would have had to tell the prosecutor, you know what, I would rather go through door number 2.
the expert is basically talking about, you know, the prosecutor probably went to the family, was like, hey, listen, you know, let us take this guilty plea and we'll make sure he never gets out of prison. And we'll make sure that we put him in a cell and he never sees the light of day. And he, you know, we put him on self-ending watch so he doesn't end himself. And I was like, bullshit, man. Bullshit. That's bullshit. Because here's this guy talking about what he thinks is going to happen with Chad Doerman. And he has no idea what happens in prison. Nobody's putting him in a cell, in a box where he can't see the light of day. Nobody's doing that. All right. You can't put somebody on self-ending watch for all eternity. That's against the law. What's going to end up happening, he's going to get life in prison. He's going to go to a maximum security prison where he's going to have a TV. He's going to have a weight room. He's going to have commissary. He's going to have some wackadoo crazy people who are going to be in love with him through mail and email, or however his jails communicates. Some jails do email, some jails do mail, whatever. And he's going to get money from these crazy ladies that's going to hit him up and fall in love with him. It's really crazy. It happens. It really does happen. This is real stuff here. And he's going to live the rest of his life in prison. He's going to get acclimated to it. He's going to go to school. He's going to learn a trade. He's going to be a model inmate, because they usually are, the wackadoos. He's going to be a model inmate. And after a while, everybody will not care about what he did, because everybody in prison did something horrible. And they say, oh, you know, in the comment section, people, oh, you know, those inmates are going to handle him. No, they're not. They're not. Those inmates are busy running drug gangs, drug schemes, and all that stuff, and in warfare with their enemies. They don't have time. They're not heroes. They're all degenerates. They're all evil. They're all bad people for the most part. They're too busy worrying about what they got going on that's going to benefit them than to enact society's justice against this guy who killed his own family. Nothing's going to happen to him. The best thing that could have happened out of that trial is if they went to trial and they actually seek the death penalty. That's the only true justice we could have got out of that case. And now, since he's pled guilty and he's going to get life in prison and he's not getting the death penalty, he wins. He wins. He slaughtered his kids and he gets to live. He gets to win. He gets to win. If he finds somebody to love him on the outside and they get married, guess what? It doesn't go by your crime. It doesn't go by your crime. It goes by your institutional record. If he stays out of trouble in that jail for a couple years, he could get conjugal visits with his new wife. They're not going to say, oh, you killed your kid, so you can't get a conjugal visit. If he doesn't show any violence in prison, he can get a conjugal visit if somebody marries him. He can also run some game on a prison guard, and maybe he could get some love in that way too. And it happens. How do I know? I built a whole career on that for many years until I left to go do policing. I investigated sex crimes that happen in prisons. That means I investigated inmates and officers who engaged in sex. So guess what? We missed the ball on this one. We had a man dead to rights. If you can't give Mr. Doerman the death penalty, who can you give the death penalty? Riddle me that. You can't give Chad Doerman the death penalty. Who can you give the death penalty to? We just missed out on an opportunity to end this man, to bring justice to those slain little kids. And we missed that opportunity. That's how I think about, that's my take rather, on Chad Doerman. A man who literally set off a proverbial nuclear bomb on his family. Why? Because his wife wanted to leave him. His wife wanted to leave him. And that's why he decided to kill his kids to spite her. He just didn't have the courage to take care of himself while he was at it. Because what ended up happening, in my opinion, isn't real justice. Life in prison is not real justice in the United States of America. Because these people don't suffer. Don't listen to what those DAs tell you. Don't listen to what the activists tell you. Don't listen to what anybody tells you. You're hearing it from a pro, from somebody who jailed for 12 years. 12 years I worked for the prison system. 12 years I had access to every facet of the New York State prison system as a senior investigator for the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision. I'm telling you, as a pro who had access to every nook and cranny to some of the most notorious jails in American history. Sing Sing, Attica, Clinton. These jails, movies are made of. Movies, books, art are made of these legendary jails. I've been in them. I've investigated in them. I've worked with the administrations. I've worked with the union. I've gone after the officers. And in some of those jails, like Sing Sing, I worked there personally as an officer. And I'm telling you, as a pro, it's not that bad in prison. It sucks, but it's not that bad. And if you can kill your entire family and have to go to jail for the rest of your life, that may not be the worst deal. You'll never miss a episode of Game of Thrones. You'll never, ever not have a six-pack. You have access to creatine, supplements, protein, fish, shrimp, steak, all of that you could buy in a commissary. All of that for the rest of your life. The only thing you got to do is get yourself a job in there so you can make some money and buy your commissary goods and get yourself some sucker on the outside, whether it's your family members or some woman who's infatuated with talking to murderers via pen pal, and have them send you $20, $30 a month, which is not a big sum of money, and you're good to go. You're squared away. $30 to $100 a month can buy you everything you need from the commissary to last you for a whole month. 30 on the low end, $100 on the high end. That's it. For $1,200, your sugar mommy or your sugar daddy can take care of you for an entire year and have you sitting like the Queen of Sheba or the King of Egypt. That's not justice. Chad should have got the death penalty. That's just the end of it.